The most cherished... look, that's been asked before. I think there's no specific moment. It's like someone saying to me, who's the toughest player you've played on? Who's the hardest player? I really can't say that because there have been many players at times that have been tough and hard and so on and so forth. And the most cherished moment, I suppose, playing football was... and being part of football was to be at the Collingwood Football Club at 16 years of age, to be in a social club amongst the Len Thompsons and the Peter McKennas and whoever you want to name, Tuddenhams and so on of the world. I shouldn't be in the damn football club at 16 because you've got to be 18 to be in a social club. So just to think that I've come from Ararat, the wilderness, plucked out of nowhere, come down and play football, and here I am, it's sort of unheard of.
Good old Collingwood forever. We know how to play the game. Side by side we stick together to uphold the Magpie's name. Here the barrackers are shouting as all barrackers should.
Just places the ball very neatly across to brother Wayne. Wayne onto the left boot, deeper into half-forward flank territory, and Collingwood doing it as they like now. Rene Kink breaks away. He'll have a shot 45 metres out. On the boundary line as he kicks two. Don't tell me.
When I was pretty young, I come from Ararat, and I was up there, and I kicked. I think it was 137 goals.
More than that, 146.
146.
That'd be when you realised you could play the game, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, it all depends. How many games did that take you?
Only 14.
14. And that's as a 15 and a 16-year-old.
I was a 15-year-old. No, it was under 16 football, junior football, and I kicked 22-15 one game.
Cheap
And
Carlton
I lost the best and first in the league by one vote.
22-15. You know, Carlton didn't kick that in the first half of the season.
No, that's a good point.
Dropped McKenna and Price for the preliminary final against Richmond and included a 16-year-old, Rene Kink, for his first game.
We'd played, and I really believed I was up to the task, and I went out there with a real positive attitude, and unfortunately got beaten. But
Wearmouth now goes to the edge of the goal square. The players fly to mark. Kink is marked. The kid, the 16-year-old schoolboy from Melbourne, dead set pressure goal. 20 metres out, he kicks.
He's there, well smothered. Tony Shaw, beautiful handball to Kink. Kink steadies, a goal coming up.
Down the football club at about 4 p.m. To discuss something or other. I knew it wasn't a ham sandwich, so I was called in and they said that my services were no longer required.
What was your immediate feeling? Was it relief or bitterness towards the club? What was it?
Look, there was no bitterness or animosity because I've been here a long time, 11 years. It was a bit of a relief, to be perfectly honest, because after 11 years, maybe I needed
Very young player, 16 years of age, in fact. In 1973, he played in the finals as a 16-year-old, which was a great effort, and of course, nicknamed the Incredible Hulk by Lou Richards because of the tremendous bulk. A player who has generally been regarded as a pretty inconsistent player over the years, but tremendous skills, can kick with either foot. And I'm sure that all people in football, even Collingwood supporters, will be delighted if Rene can force his way into that Essendon side. As you can see from the screen, he's still carrying a little...
St Kilda kicking 7 beauties. It was to be Rene's day, but they were to be few and far between in 1980 for him.
There's a beautiful shot for goal, long, right down the woods where Kink sets himself for the mark, 30 metres out from goal, and has taken this mark.
Jeez, I think goes down on the back line, Peter.
There it is. He's going after it. Oh, heavy clash there as a hand pass comes out to Kink. He'll run into the open goal, stabs that ball, and he's put it through.
He's kicking, drifting off just a little bit. And Kink takes a beautiful mark, Rene Kink. So this will be definitely goal number 6.
Smothering that ball. Their side bottom has been quiet today. Comes to Banks. Banks fires at the goals. Kink could mark this right in front, and he's done it. Rene Kink, what's he kicked, Doug? 6. And he'll be firing for his 7th. Tremendous game by Kink. In a will-o'-the-wisp as he casually drops that one.
Hulk, Rene Kink, vanished to the back line, storms forward and kicks an inspiring goal that set Collingwood to a big lead in the first half.
It was 20 years ago that I dubbed Rene Kink the Incredible Hulk. But only this week did the former Collingwood strongman finally meet his namesake. Lou Ferrigno played the Hulk in the television series. And there was no denying the resemblance when the pair got together at Victoria Park. But where the Hulk used to turn green when he was angry, Rene Kink was probably even more unpredictable.
Maybe it's a case of the coach or people that you're dealing with at the club here didn't know how to make you tick.
Would you have problems with coaches here?
I don't think I had problems with coaches, but I think the coaches didn't really understand how I ticked.
Well, how did you tick?
Well, that's another story which would probably take a few hours, Lou.
But Kinky sure knew how to turn on the brilliance and was adored by a special section of the crowd. You were a real hero with the women down here at Collingwood for years.
Well, I think it's all memories, Lou, and you leave it up to the next generation. And it's been, 8, 9 years for me since I've played, so I don't worry about that sort of thing.
In 1983, he was axed by the Magpies and went to Essendon and later to St Kilda. About the only thing he didn't achieve was a premiership.
Unfortunately, I'm the only league player to play in 6 losing grand finals, and I suppose that's nothing that you can
brag about.
Brag about, yeah, put it that way. But I think just being here and being a part of the place, and unfortunately not winning a premiership, but having so many wonderful memories about the place and the people. Our play and the money and the big contracts started to happen, and. Yeah, it was a changing scene in football.
There are no prizes for second place. All I want from you is everything you've got and more.
He was very, very much involved with the whole sink of football. He really got involved with everything from the coaching strategies to the game setups. You know, the whole thing about the football club. He had to play the big tough roughy sort of ogre of the club, and if there's any problems, you come and see Tank.
Jeff against Tank.
I hope he's insured.
He's the one that sort of biffed everybody and sorted everybody out. I don't think I had one line or something like that.
Suck.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, he dropped the towel at one stage. That was part of the script.
You know, you're walking through a gate and all of a sudden he drops his towel and all you can see his bloody big bum sitting there.
If you want to call that acting, it was good fun.
Bruce Beresford just wanted us to be as normal as we could, which was pretty hard for people when there's all cameras around, a lot of people watching you.
Throughout the whole season, we had cameras on us, match days and training days. Jack and Tommy got together quite often and spoke about how they should play the role and how everything should be set up and so that Jack could look like a real footballer.
Thank God I wasn't one. Long, he's looking for Derek Shaw. Over the head of the pack towards Byrne. Well tackled by Ablett to Carlson for Collingwood, an interchange player who does it well with the left boot. He looks for Kink, who's there with O'Halloran. Mark of the day, almost. He's taken a few that would be very difficult to handle. 9, in fact.
Come back.
How did you guys prepare for the next week?
Well, I know ourselves, it was hard because Tommy just ran us into the ground. He really did. We trained so hard, it was hot, and we just worked.
Why would he do that?
Well, that's Tommy. That's Tommy as a coach and as a person. And he just believes in doing that same thing, just repeating itself, you know. And I believe Peter, you got... It changed, and Essendon then went right through the Wimmera, and Collingwood was a part of the Hamilton, so on area through there. So I was lucky to come down to Collingwood, and Jack Regan, the famous fullback for Collingwood, came and had a chat to me and said, "You can play a little bit, son." I said, "Yeah, that's nice." So it was 143 goals, Troy,
143. I robbed you of 6, Rene.
Yeah,
I did that on purpose, mate. I did that on purpose. I just wanted you to pick me up.
Yeah, well, I kicked 22-15 one game, and now this is under 16 football. I'm 15 years of age. The oval is only a 3/4 size oval, so it's not a full senior oval as in the local football or as in the Wimmera Football League where Arad is.
I wasn't going to mention that, Rene.
Yeah, so it helped when the ball came out of the centre and sort of found itself at my feet or in my hands, and I was lucky enough to turn around left foot or right foot and just another one through the middle.
The South Australian Film Corporation discovered Rene Kink at his hairdressing salon in North Melbourne.
Well, they were stupid. If I'm out there risking a fractured skull or a ruptured spleen in a grandstand bar, then I want to get paid for it.
Rehearsing again, Kinky?
Yes, Stephen, it's for the film The Club, which is about to start in March.
And you've got a part in it?
Yes, I believe I've got a small part.
Who are you playing?
I'm playing myself.
Not the Incredible Hulk.
Yes, looks like that.
Could this be the road to bigger and better things, perhaps Hollywood?
Oh, who knows? Sunset Strip and everything.
Derek Shaw forces the ball down. Grabbed there by Kink. The quick snap towards goal. It's another one to Kink. His third and his second this quarter. So Collingwood go to 11-11. 77 with Fitzroy 6-4.
Goal here.
Good description of a bruise, Drew, a one-goal bruise.
It's got the distance. Oh, great kick.
The second.
Skillful football by Greg, looking for Bryant, can't find him, and Kink keeps going. Kink goes goal and puts it on its way. Another goal to Rene Kink. So he's kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Certainly got the ability to do. There he is on your screen there, 2 great goals. With tremendous strength. As I said, he is a tremendous...
Of course, Sav Rocker, one of our greatest goal kickers, was number 36. Our own Brownlow medalist of today, Dane Swan, number 36. But it was never better or bigger than in the 70s and 80s. The man, number 36, they called him the Incredible Hulk, Rene Kink. Kinky, great to see you, mate.
Lovely to see you,
How are you, mate?
There's only 136. Left foot, right foot. But please, welcome to my store.
Yeah.
420 Spencer Street, tools and electrical.
Mate, I'm here to talk football.
Oh, sorry, mate. We'll get into that later on.
Anything you're going to flog me before I get out of here?
No. I'll probably send you and take you with a log splitter before you leave.
All right. Let's go and talk about footy, mate. The 80s, fantastic. Great to see you. Now, as a youngster, 17-year-old, probably you couldn't get a bigger initiation into VFL football then, a preliminary final on your first game.
Yeah, I played, when I was 16, Tony, I played 4 games, and my first full game was in that preliminary final in 73 against Richmond when I came on and kicked 3 goals for. Oh. It was an absolute thrill, and it feels and seems so long ago, and it was just marvellous. But to be able to have the opportunity at 16 to play VFL football was pretty special.
The edge of the goal square, the players fly to mark. Kink is marked. The kid, the 16-year-old schoolboy from Melbourne, dead set pressure goal. 20 metres out, he kicks.
But everybody saw you as strong. But I've never seen a person who can kick left and right foot. Even the modern day player doesn't kick left and right foot as well as what you did.
I had no problem when I did turn to my left. I could, kick the ball long or pretty well short. And we weren't kicking short in those days, so we weren't taught to kick short. It was always kick long and kick to a position and kick to the next line of attack, whatever it may have been.
You played in a lot of losing grand finals. Tell us memories of the grand finals that you played in.
Oh, there's no question about 77. One of the greatest memories of that grand final, when I've looked at that grand final a couple of times, the disgraceful condition of the football ground.
Yeah.
Compared to what they play now. And now I've looked at players just having the ball go sideways and over their head and bounce all over the place and should never have happened and wouldn't have happened. It would have been a very different game from the skill point of view.
Cast down the goal square, Rene Kink, and he's put it through.
Of course, 79, that was another game that was there to be won, and what can you say? The ball's over the boundary line. Did Harms hit it back or didn't he? Look, we were there, and it just, so many things could be so different if we had have won those grand finals.
It's rolling towards the boundary line, and Harms almost makes ground. He takes it back to shoulder.
Now, mate, you were big, you were strong, but the first job you ever had while you were at Collingwood was a hairdresser. Now tell us how...
Ladies' hairdresser, yeah.
Ladies, now, what was the name of it? Kinky hair.
Kinky hair was big. It was big, mate. Big in the late 70s.
Did they just swarm in? The women? That was it?
Yeah, I asked God for an extra day at the end of the week. He wouldn't give me one. No, not really. It's fantastic. No,
did you do a course or you just make it up, or, you know?
No, I went and did a fully qualified ladies' hairdressing course.
What about the other thing I know that you could always handle yourself? You love boxing. You trained a lot. Yeah, you really... And you threw a couple. I remember one. I think you might have missed... was it... Swan Mackay, you missed his chin by half an inch.
I broke his nose.
Oh, you got his nose, did you?
Yeah, because I used to see his wife at the Victoria Market at the fruit shop there, where I used to do a little bit of moonlighting at lunchtime from the salon, and she wouldn't come up the aisle there to buy her fruit because she'd saw me. She hated me.
But a fair bump, I thought. Careful, Rene, you're gone, son.
Well, one part that you did play was, I thought you might have won an Academy or an Oscar for your role in the club. Tanko Donahue?
Oh, he was big.
Out of the club?
He was huge, out of the club. Yeah, how wonderful was that? What another wonderful experience that I was able to experience in my life. People still talk about it because the film's still on TV every now and then. You can get it at the DVD shop, and you've got to watch it 2 or 3 times to really appreciate it. But the friendships that were forged with the stars of that movie, Jack Thompson, of course,
were you in
John Howard.
Yeah, were you in the nud in one of the scenes there?
A little bit of a nutty thing, off the tower coming from the social club. I think I wrote that episode in there, but that, you got to do those sort of things.
Just to get the Hulk out there.
Get the Hulk out there, show what it's all about. But no, look, it was just great, and just loved it. And fortunate, another wonderful period of my football career that will live with me forever.
120,000 for that rabbit.
Suck.
Right.
I've always said, just pinch me, as black and white blood will come out. It's my home, and I love it, and I love everyone who's down there, and I think Eddie's done a wonderful job, and the committee over a long period of time, and it hasn't changed that much, but being a life member and to be involved with so many great players that I've played with over a long period of time, and of course we lost our great mate Len Thompson, and I played with Len, and I loved him, and Graham Jenkins is probably the nicest guy I've ever played with or been involved with in AFL football. They're the things that you still live for and want to be involved with Collingwood, because it's such a special place.
Like Kink fumbles, has a snapshot for goal. He's put it through for an amazing goal.
So what's happening in your life now and the future for Rene Kink?
I've got a little property up the country involved with my partner, and I've always wanted to put grapes in, and maybe I'll throw a few grapes in and give everyone a drop of the Kink ink before too long. Which is not a bad little label.
Now, mate, before the drop of the Kink ink comes out, on behalf of Get Wines Direct, here it is, 2 crates of the President's Selection. It is a beautiful drop. We thank you for coming on Vintage Collingwood, and I knew it'd be great. Is there anything you want to leave us with?
Well, firstly, is this from Eddie's collection, because it's a President's collection? But if it is, I'm happy to drink it. But before we go, the Mendo table and 4 chairs is on special at the moment at $3.69. So jump on board. You'll love it. It's an outdoor setting, and it's a winner.
Thanks, Rene.
Thanks very much, Tony Happy.
Good on you, Kinky.
Kink at the back, too tall. Getting away from Young now. Rene Kink, Collingwood needs him to fire, and Kink goes for a long boot now towards the full forward position. Bill tries to punch from behind, getting it away from Davis. And he gets kick number 2. Sheldon's there with him. Craig Davis breaking away, got nowhere to go. The flying doormat Bruce Dewar almost picked him up, but he's still got it. Well played. Gives it to Rene Kink. Kink well shepherded by Shaw. Runs in, fires at the goals and puts it through. Great goal. Out comes both full forward. Finds a hand pass to Kink. Oh, didn't bounce too well for Kink on that occasion, but grabbed by the arm. Spins around under his left foot and fires. That could be a miraculous goal. Oh, what brilliant play that was. Bill spins out of the pack. It's a bad hand pass to Kink. He was just trying to get out. He's clear now. Back to Weir now. Weir now going for a run. The hand pass back there to Barnes. Snaps the goal. And that's another one. Collingwood a Kink. Hamilton running towards the goal. So a goal for Carlton.
Sports Stadium for indoor cricket. And Rene, you're the Sports Director of the complex.
Yes, Kev, I'm the Sports Director of the complex here. Our company is called Australian Indoor Sports, and our company is involved with indoor cricket. Indoor cricket, as you know, is a booming game. It's a game of the 80s because everyone can play, from the little kids, who we're talking to now, the under-7s, under-8s, under-9s, under-10s, right through to the adults. And we've got centres located in a number of places, such as here at Werribee and Mornington, Seymour, Essendon, Bulleen, Melton, and 3 or 4 other places we're looking at the moment.
Rene Kink, the footballer.
Well, you know, the thing I was blessed and fortunate enough to have all the ability and skill in the world I wanted. But unfortunately at times, Mike, I probably lost my way because maybe the challenges weren't big enough for me or great enough for me. But I would have loved to have played a lot more in the middle. You know, at times I felt being on the forward line, it was hard work in so many ways because we weren't the greatest deliverers of the ball coming down the ground, if you know what I'm saying?
I knew you'd get to that. Coming off half-back, it was a bit sloppy, wasn't it?
Well, at times, you know, the balls were going everywhere and anywhere, and the people I'm talking about, and they'll tell you, and the Ray Burns and the Billy Pickens of the world, they weren't the greatest deliverers of the drop punt or whatever the case may be. Billy'd come out of the back line and kick drop kicks. You know, what the hell's in his head? You know, we're working our bum off to kick goals to win games, and we did because we were very successful for a long period of time, but by Jesus, it was hard work. It made the difference.
The other question about you is your passion for the game. I mean, I have the feel that you were never totally absorbed in the game, that you could take it or leave it. Is that fair?
That's very true. At times, you know, I've mentioned, I've been out there and I've kicked a number of goals, 3, 4, 5 goals up to three-quarter time, and I look at the scoreboard and say, well, we're 7 up. I don't think we'll get beaten. We're pretty right. That'll do for me. I'm shutting shop. But that was me, because for some unknown reason, there was no more challenge to me, and I didn't have to necessarily go out and have to prove myself to be any better or whatever. And time again, I'd come off and they'd say, oh, look, Kink was he was fantastic. He kicked 5 goals, but he fell away. He fell away because I made myself fall away.
So you didn't care enough?
No, it's not care. I cared. The issue was never cared. It just wasn't important to me. We had the game won. We weren't going to lose the game. And you know, that's me, done and dusted for the day. Okay. I don't need to go and kick 7 goals or 8 goals because I've never been a stats guy. But I got bagged time and time again because Kink was fantastic and should have been BOG. He's in the best players, but he would have been BOG if he had finished off the game and kicked 2 more or 3 more, as the stats will tell you.
So it was work rate, was it? You were just I've done enough.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
Are you happy with that?
And when you hear
yourself saying that now, are you happy? Do you think that you did yourself justice?
I probably did myself a big injustice because footballers need to be seen to play the game out and be at their best for 100%. And you know, we can name names, you know, when it comes to those sort of players, and they're rewarded for it. You know? But it was with me, it wasn't important to me. I think the closest I ever got in the Copeland Trophy at Collingwood was 14th or something.
That would be right.
You know, but the closest I got
you never finished top 10 in a Copeland Trophy?
Never in my life. I had a proper bagging some of the committee after the game.
But aren't you a bit embarrassed about that?
No.
With a man of your talent?
No, not in the slightest. I never played 200 games because that wasn't important to me.
Well, you played a final in 1973 at the age of 16. Did it come too easy to you?
Did it come too easy to get to that final?
Yeah.
No, because I was fortunate I had the ability and the skill to play, and I knew that wasn't a problem. To do that, to be there in that position, you know, to play. I knew I could play football at 16.
So you weren't nervous? I remember. No. Were you on the front page of the
Herald Sun?
Yeah,
we did a photo with a shotgun or something. Yeah. And no, I wasn't.
You're a boy from Ararat. You're at Melbourne High School. Yeah. You're suddenly playing against Richmond in a prelim final, and you kick 3 goals. I'm just saying, did you think, well, what's difficult about this?
No, it was like from one week to another, but I'm going out in a bigger crowd, and I knew that I had to really earned my place while I was out there. I played on Dickie Clay and I kicked 3 goals 4, and it was a very tight game. And Royce Hart came on at half time. We were well up. We fell away. We came back, and we just got beaten. But you know, it was enormous to 16 to be out there. You know, big-bodied guy. You know, but fortunately, I could play. I could kick the ball left foot, right. It's all different because Wow Jones was there, McConville, and so on. And I was just another foreign being coming into the place. I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll get 16 games. I really don't want to do this because I was gone mentally and physically.
Were you?
I was really...
You're only 27, 28,
28.
Though, yeah, 28, yeah.
And I got, I think, 6 or 7 games for the year.
7 you played?
Yeah, I really struggled. I remember having to jog down to the Sandringham football ground and train there on the sandy ground.
Yeah.
I'm in the car, I'm driving down there, and I'm going straight up. This body and this mind doesn't want to do this.
You mentioned boxing, and I know that's a passion of yours. You had a regular sparring partner by the name of Mick Gatto, didn't you, until recently?
Yeah, look, known Mick a long time. As I said, you know, he's been a good friend and a caring friend, and just loved going up to his place and help him build his gym. And I used to spar all the time, 4 or 5. No head guards, don't they? They were too stupid for that. And now Mick
Who'd win, Rene? When you?
The trouble is, when I hit Mick a little bit hard, he didn't like it. He'd giggle under the mouth guard. So after he had the giggle, then he'd punch the crap out of him. And before I knew it, halfway through '83, I was at Essendon. I had a few weeks off where I went and got myself fit, running the tan, and worked pretty hard for a number of weeks.
By yourself?
Yeah, by myself. Yeah.
Did that rejuvenate?
Oh, straight away.
Yeah.
Straight away, it got me up and going.
You kicked 24 goals in 9 games with the Bombers and played in the grand final.
Yep.
It was a pretty good year, wasn't it? Except the result wasn't there.
Oh, 83, and yeah, you know, I was there halfway through the year, and you know, I was in the side, and I looked around. I remember that 83 grand final. I looked around, and going into that 83 grand final, we just weren't ready. The maturity wasn't there. There was a lot of things weren't there, and I could see that. Sheedy was.
Were you as fit at Collingwood as you could have been? I mean, you're a big man. You're a naturally big man.
Oh,
were
look,
you fit?
Yeah, at times. There's no question about it. But at different times, for whatever reason, I lost my way, and part of losing the way is when you go year after year working as hard as you do with the grind that we did under Tommy, and there's plenty of people who will support that, right? I think. By Bruce Beres for world-renowned director, David
Williamson,
the writer, to be involved with an iconic film that's on TV nearly every year on Sky or Fox or something, and to be involved with Jack Thompson and Graham Kennedy and John Howard and Harold Hopkins and legends, and to play a small role, it was just wonderful.
Were you good?
I didn't say too much, but I was in Actors Equity. I got royalties for 4 years. It wasn't much, but I got some money.
Strengths that all humans have. Then an accidental overdose of gamma radiation alters his body chemistry. And now when David Banner grows angry or outraged, a startling metamorphosis occurs.